Good Sunday morning. How are you today? Are you excited that school is done for the summer? I am. I'm ready for the break. I hope that you had a good end to your school year, that you were able to find ways to still celebrate the end of school, and I hope that you have a restful and recovering summer. So today, our story is going to come from Exodus chapter 31, and we are going to be reading about some very talented people and where talent came from today. So most of you have probably seen one of these, used one of these, played with one of these, or even have one of your own, which is crazy to me because when I was a kid, we didn't even have a cell phone. I went to the wall and picked up the phone to talk on the phone. But today, a lot of you have probably had a chance to use one of these, and it's a lot more than a phone today. Well, iPhone, when they created the new phone, they wanted people to have a phone that was very simple and easy to use, and above all, they wanted it to be a work of art. So let's go back in history here for a second to some of my memories, okay? Here's one of the first cell phones. It was in a bag, and you carried the bag with you in the car. And then we found a way to get smaller, and so cell phones continued to get smaller. And here's my first cell phone. This is exactly what my first cell phone looked like. There's no smartphone, no one button. And if you wanted to text on this, you had to push the buttons multiple times until you got to the letter. So we really did not text. We called. We talked to people. Computers have also changed a lot. So here is what the first computer with a mouse looked like. And these slots here were for big discs that we had to slide in to get information or take information off. Here's kind of what a computer lab looked like when I went to school. And here is, and the first Apple computer was very boxy and just kind of large and not very flowing. And then my first teaching job was as the computer teacher at Potsdam Central School, and I taught technology there. And this is almost exactly what the computer lab looked like that I taught in. So these are also Apple computers, but you will notice that they changed a lot from this box to a very flowing, kind of pleasing to the eye kind of look. It was kind of cool. So the reason they did that is because they wanted art in their design. Apple did. They wanted it to be artistic. So the art of an iPhone and a computer came from a man named Jonathan Ive. And Jonathan Ive is not an engineer. He is not a computer expert. He is an artist. He is someone who is very artistic, and he designs art, paints, draws, does all kinds of stuff, makes sculptures. So Apple actually hired him. And if you go to the Museum of Modern Art in New York City today, you will see some of his artistic designs. And here they are. This is what you will see on display in the Museum of Modern Art at New York City. And Apple didn't want an iPhone or an iPad or its Mac computers to be the boxy, boring, big, complicated machines of the past. And so they wanted it to be beautiful. So Steve Jobs, instead of making them the way they were before, hired Jonathan Ive, and they redesigned how Apple looked. And it's still an artwork that is on display. Well, artistic ability is actually a gift from God. And if you read in the book of Exodus, chapter 31, you will find out that God actually says he gave two men this great artistic ability to build a tabernacle. So I am going to try to pronounce their names, but if I mess up, I'm sorry. So Bezalel and Oholiab were two men who were given gifts of artistic ability to build beauty in a tabernacle. So God gave specific instructions to them to design a temple, and he chose that work to be done by Bezalel and Oholiab. God told Moses that he had given them both wisdom, skill, and knowledge to make artistic designs using gold, silver, wood, and other materials. God gave them these skills to be very specific in making the tabernacle a beautiful dwelling place for the Israelites. Now, God didn't have to have a beautiful place, but he wanted it to be beautiful. He wanted the Israelites to see the beauty in the tabernacle and have that beauty remind them of their creator, who also created beauty. God values not only creativity, but beauty. So God has given each of us some special gifts. Some of us are artists. Some of us are musicians. Others are gifted speakers and teachers. Whatever gift you may be given by God, he has a plan for you to use that gift in a special way for him. No gift is insignificant. Everything is super important to God. So whatever you do, whatever your gift is, do it as if you're working for the Lord. That's what the Bible tells us. Whatever your gift is, he wants you to embrace that gift and do that gift, that talent, as if you're working for him. So always remember who gave you your gifts, and don't be afraid to let others know that he is your inspiration and that he gave you that talent. So I asked my family if I could kind of use them as examples. So Abby is quite artistically talented, and this year some of her art was selected to go to Syracuse and was on display there. And 3 of her pieces won awards there or got special recognition. And so here's some of her photography that she did at school, well, for school, that got recognized for artistic talent. Mackenzie is pretty talented in understanding people's feelings, emotions. She kind of reads into how people are feeling, and she can kind of tell when somebody's upset or sad or anything. So that's an interesting talent. Abby, would you get me Daddy's guitar? Not only am I talented at teaching, which just comes naturally for me, I can't tell you why or how, but I also, I'm pretty talented at organizing events or parties. Like, I can't tell you how it happens, but things just organize in my brain and I think it all out and it just comes easy for me. And Mr. Weems is constantly picking up new hobbies. He builds stuff with wood, builds stuff with leather. And the last few years, he's been building guitars. And so here's one of the guitars Mr. Weems built and created. This is not a guitar. I've just been informed. This is a mandolin. Whatever. It's wood with strings. Okay. So we all have talents and things that kind of come natural for us. We're kind of good at it. So when you find that talent or that thing that you're kind of good at, I hope that you will embrace it, be proud of it, continue to grow in that hobby or that talent, because not everything comes easy. Sometimes you have to work a little bit at it to get better and better. And remember that God gave you that talent and that he wants you to use it for his glory. Have a wonderful week. I hope that you kick off your summer with lots of fun, and I will see you again next week.